Hey guys, Katie Mild. Welcome to this week's Money Minute. So, we're going to dive right in. Today, I want to talk to you about the two sides of money. Every money decision you make for yourself, in your household, for a future goal, every single money decision that you make will have two components to consider. There's the emotional side and the analytical side. So, there's the feelings, right? And there's the numbers, the cold hard facts, the thing that your spreadsheet says, because numbers don't lie. These two dynamics will always be at play whenever you are in the middle of making a money decision. So let me ask you this question. I'm going to lay out a scenario for you, and I just want you to think about, what would you do? Okay, so let's say you decide for whatever reason it's time for a car. So you go to a dealership, you test drive a few, you ultimately decide on the car that you think is it. And you are in the fortunate position that you can pay cash or you can take out a loan. Now, let's sweeten the pot a little bit. Let's say that you've worked really hard and you have excellent credit. And given everything going on in the world right now, they come to you and say you qualify for a 0% interest loan. So no interest, okay, which is fabulous. Now, do you still write the check for the car, or do you take out the 0% financing? Now, if you are more of an emotional thinker, if you rely more on the feeling side, you may be inclined to write the check and be done because you don't want the monthly payment. You don't want to deal with the debt obligation, that extra overhead. You want to write a check and be done and not have car payments. The analytical side of you may say, well, we can take out this financing, have the monthly payment, because we can take that same sum of money, instead of writing a check, we can take that money and put it in either a high yield savings account or some type of investing fund like a Vanguard or a Fidelity account. And the interest that we will gain over time obviously far exceeds 0%. So we would make money. So in fact, we're losing money if we write a check. Let's make payments over time, invest the difference, and make some money over time. That's what the spreadsheet tells us. So, emotional, analytical. What would you do? Now, this exact situation actually happened in my household over the past couple of months. If you follow me on social media, you know that we had quite the car saga. It's a whole long thing. I'll save the story for another day. But bottom line, we had two paid off cars. We sold one of them. One reliable car was left, or so we thought, started having lots of problems with that one car, and ultimately realized our one car was no longer going to cut it. We could no longer trust this vehicle. It wasn't reliable. So we unexpectedly found ourselves hunting for a new vehicle just a few weeks ago. And this exact situation played out for us. We are very fortunate, and we're very, very good with our money, and we save a lot. We could have written a check for the car that day, which is what I wanted to do. We also qualified, because we have excellent credit, we qualified for a 0% interest loan. So my husband and I went back and forth on what to do. I am much more emotional when it comes to money decisions. I know the numbers don't lie. I get the whole argument about how my money could make more money if I were to invest the difference. But I hate debt, and I hate payments. I despise them. So I was much more in the camp of, let's just write a check and be done with it. My husband, upon hearing that we qualified for a 0% interest loan, said, this is silly. Let's, kick this can down the road. Let's invest the difference. We'll make more money that way. Let's just not write a check. Let's not lose this big chunk of money now. So it seemed like we were at a bit of a crossroads. It's very interesting when you look at any money decision because, again, these two elements, the emotional versus the analytical, are always going to be factors. And depending on your personality type and your debt tolerance and your beliefs about money, these dynamics will shift and the balance you put on each one will change. And it will change throughout your life based on your life circumstance, based on where you are, and based on your tolerance level and how you can sleep at night and what you can deal with and what you can handle. So here's what we did to try to compromise. We wrote a check for about half the balance of the car. That for me was a relief because I knew that much paid off, handled, donezo, never have to deal with it again. We also then asked the dealership to put a portion on a credit card, as much as they would allow us. Now, do we need to put it on credit? Absolutely not. Again, we can write the check and be done. But I thought, well, we're really good with our credit cards and we love to hack them and we wanted the points. So we said put a portion on the credit cards. We've already paid off that difference, right? Just to get the points. And then the remaining balance, I can't believe I'm saying it, but we financed it at 0%. Now, that money is sitting in a bank account right now. It's in a high yield savings account. We're debating on where to put it next to maximize it. But the bottom line is this: if everything fell apart tomorrow, if somehow that loan was recalled tomorrow, we could write a check and be done. But in the meantime, we are working on how we can allocate that remaining balance, whether it stays in that savings account, which I don't think it will, whether it goes into an investment fund, more likely, whether we decide to put it into another rental property, also a possibility. There are many options that we are still exploring at this time, but what we had to do was work together to find a compromise for us where both of our emotional and our analytical needs were met. So, what's the point of this story? The point is that very few of these things in life related to your money are black and white. There are always going to be lots of dynamics and elements at play. And ultimately, you have to do what works for your financial situation, what helps you sleep best at night, and what helps you realize your end goals. So, write me back. Tell me what you think. What would you have done in this situation if you were suddenly looking for a new car and had to buy one on the fly? How would you handle allocating and balancing the emotional versus your analytical needs? And do you have any examples of how this has played out in your life? Write me back. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.